Hello, European Confessions. I am back with another episode. There is a message that I want to share with you guys. This message comes from a very young lady. She is saying, right now, I am staying with my husband, but we are not getting along very well. We recently got married. My story is like this. My father and my mother, they died, and I grew up under the care of my auntie. I found a boyfriend, and me and my boyfriend, we arranged for a marriage. And ever since I got married to my husband, we haven't been able to get intimate in bed because he is saying that it is in their culture that I have to first sleep with his father so that his father can see if I am still a virgin or not, and I am not happy about it. Even the very first day when I got married to my husband, I was quite happy because this is all that I wanted. I wanted to get married to a decent man, have a good wedding in which I did, and then enjoy the rest of my life with my dear husband. But what happened is that after we got married, on my wedding day, I heard that now there were change of plans. When I heard that there were change of plans, I just thought that maybe my husband's parents were preparing something good for us. Little did I know of the horror that was waiting for me. After our wedding, we were driven off not to our honeymoon, but we went back to my husband's parents' house and we stayed there. The first night we stayed there. To my surprise, when we were sleeping, my husband didn't even bother to touch me or to do anything to me. I actually tried seducing him. I tried every trick in the book. That is when I saw that my husband was uninterested. He didn't want to do anything with me. After that, he just stormed out of the house. And after a couple of minutes, that is when one of my in-laws walked into that room that was like my bedroom, me and my husband. And when my in-law walked into that bedroom, I knew that something was wrong. Then my in-law started explaining everything that had to happen on that night. They told me that it is part of their culture as their daughter-in-law. My father-in-law, he has the right to come into my bedroom and to come into my bed so that he can make sure that if I was still a virgin or not. Then after that, me and my husband, we can continue with our lives. And I said, no, hell no, I can never do that. I refused to be intimate with my husband's father. Just imagine my own father-in-law, picture him on top of me, being intimate with me. I refused to do that. Then they said that if I refuse to be intimate with my father-in-law, then it means that they won't be able to accept me in the family because this is their tradition and culture. I had to follow their tradition. And I tried to explain to them that I was ashamed. I will never be able to face my father-in-law if I have been intimate with him. How was I going to be his daughter-in-law if I have been intimate with him? Then my in-law said these things has been going on for centuries and centuries. Since I had taken that decision to get married into their culture as their daughter-in-law to be, it was my duty and I had to perform these duties. There was nothing that we could do and there was no bypassing it. Until now, I have been refusing. Right now, me and my husband, we are just staying together. But they told me that the way that we are doing these things, it means that me and my husband, we are not yet a husband and wife. They have actually told me that they can't recognize me anymore. They told me that if I keep on being stubborn, then it means that they will not be able to recognize me anymore as their daughter-in-law. I am so confused. So I am asking you to help me with some ideas. There was this other night when I was sleeping in bed, I was asking myself a lot of questions. There was a time when I thought of ending my own life, but I said I cannot end my life because of this matter. God gave me this life to live, and I have to live my life until the day that God takes my soul away. Right now, I am not ready for death, but I am so confused because as we are speaking right now, all of a sudden, my husband is so rude towards me, because whenever I am with my husband in our bedroom, he doesn't say anything. He'll be on his phone, and no one from my husband's family wants to speak with me anymore. They just ignore me. Like I told you that me and my husband, we got married 4 months ago. And me and my husband, we never went to any honeymoon. For the past 4 months, we have been staying at my husband's parents' house. They told me that we cannot go on our honeymoon until we perform this ritual that needs to be performed. They told me that I cannot be the one who will break this ritual that has been performed so many times in their family for centuries and centuries, and they are not going to let me to become the first who is going to break this chain. I am so confused. I actually told one of my aunties, and she was quite surprised when I was telling her everything that I am going through. She said, "Didn't we ask you that this culture that you are getting married into, are you sure?" And at that time, I didn't know, and they didn't tell me openly that when you get married to a man who comes from this culture, this ritual has to be performed. So now my auntie is actually taking my in-laws family's side. She is saying that I have to be a good daughter-in-law. I have to show them that I come from a family that has good manners, and I just have to accept everything that I am told to do. Right now, they have given me a deadline. They told me openly that if I am unwilling to perform these rituals, then they will be left with no choice other than to look for another wife for my husband, whether they get married or not. But they will be bringing that second wife to my husband in that house, in that room that I am now sleeping with my own husband. And that woman, it seems as if they have already chosen her, because there was this other day when one of my husband's sister, me and her, we had a little argument, and she was saying that, "Don't you know that at the gate there is someone already who is waiting to enter into this compound, who is willing to perform the smallest ritual that you can't even perform? How can you claim to be my husband's wife when you can't even perform this simple ritual?" I was heartbroken. And when I went into my room, and as I was crying, my husband walked into that room. I don't know where he was coming from, and he asked me, "Why are you crying?" And I told him everything that his own sister had told me. He was emotionless. He didn't even say a word. He never responded. He just walked out of the house. Now I am suspecting that this might be the truth. They are actually looking for another woman to come and get married to my own husband. I told them that there is nothing that you can do, because me and my husband, we are already married, and we have a marriage certificate to prove that we are legally married. And one of my in-law just laughed, and she said, that one is just a piece of paper. What does it matter to have a piece of paper in your house and you claim that you are legally married? How is that piece of paper and your legal marriage is going to help you when deep down you know that culturally we have rejected you to be our daughter-in-law? So you have to make a very wise decision. And they have given me an ultimatum. They have told me that I have to decide as soon as possible. I said to my husband, "Okay, it is fine. Don't you think that your father has to get tested, at least so that we can know if he has any diseases? What if I fall pregnant?" Then my husband told me that I will never fall pregnant, because the thing that we are going to be doing, it is not like we'll be having sexual intercourse. It is only going to break my virginity, then you will pull out of me. That is how the ritual is done. But I am not willing to do that. Please help me, people of God, because time is no longer on my side. My husband right now, he has gotten a job opportunity in Europe, and I am afraid that if I don't do this, maybe he is going to dump me. That is why his family is putting more pressure on me. I am afraid that if another woman comes into his life, and if my husband leaves me behind here in Africa, knowing that he has left 2 wives here in Africa, the first one that he is going to take when he is settled in Europe, it will be his second wife, and he will just dump me. Please help me, people of God. I have to make this decision, and it is an urgent thing. Please, my brother, can you post it for me? Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from Anonymous. She actually wrote the name of the culture that she is talking about. Such a sad story. She is saying that I am afraid that my marriage is slipping out of my hands, and if my husband migrates to Europe, that will be the end of me. Please advise me. Should I just accept this and sleep with his father? Dear listeners, please let us try to speak with her in the comment section. I'll be back with another episode.